All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Daily Traders podcast, bringing on some more energy. This is episode number 36. I'm your host, Mark. This is my co-host, Jack. We're glad to be back with a very special guest today, Nishant. It's good to have you, Nishant. So Nishant has been trading for 16 years. He currently works at Kirshner Trading Group. You have a lifetime, essentially, of experience, considering how old you are. I'll say a lifetime. We don't
compared to us.
Compared to us, right? 18, 20. So it's great to have veterans like you on the podcast. We're really excited for this. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. If I can give any wisdom as a trader, I'll be more than happy. Take it with a pinch of salt, like every other trading podcast that you listen to. But because everyone is different, when it comes to trading, everyone reacts differently. Everyone behaves differently. You could be sitting and trading the same stock and you'll trade it in different ways. So everyone, do their own thing. Everyone's different in this world, and that's how I take it,
I like that. So before we begin today's episode, I just have to say that we are not financial advisors. All right. We cannot give any financial advice. Nothing said in this podcast should be taken as financial advice. The full disclaimers is in the description below. All right. We hope you guys enjoy today's episode. So we were just talking in the pre-show a little bit before. You're actually in a trade right now. I think it would be cool if we just briefly talked about that. Because a lot of people think like guys who've been in this game that forever, don't lose. That's not part of it. Like you must win all the time, right?
Yeah, right. I think that was true. If I did win all the time, I don't think I should be on a podcast. I should be sitting with God. But that's not true, guys. And the way it works is that everyone loses. It's about how you take your losses. It's what you learn from your losses. You go back, you think and how you can do something. How could you have done something differently? Yeah. Sometimes, you could be right, and that's fine. This is not engineering where, you go and you're building a bridge and, you do this and this and the bridge will stand. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work like that in trading. There's irrational behavior which happens. And, maybe you're wrong for a while and you'll be right eventually, or you learn from it, So there's many examples of trades where, it's been irrational. And, sometimes you make your money back on that, and sometimes you don't. Mm-hmm. Most of the times I'll make most of my money back, or at least half the money back if I'm wrong in a trade and I'm down big. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, there is no way to make your money back on that. And that's fine. And that's life. That's the profession you chose. It's not a straight line. Mm-hmm. Lines go crooked at times, and, you just have to live with that kind of uncertainty at times. And you just have to manage risk, which is the biggest thing I would say that you got to learn. If you don't know how to manage risk, you will not survive in this profession for a long time.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, definitely, we're going to save some of that risk management and some maybe tools and tips that you use for later in the episode. So stay tuned.
I'm going to quickly interrupt. I'm really excited for you guys to listen to the rest of this episode, but I have to thank our sponsor, thedailytraders.com. Now, if you guys are interested in learning how to trade in the stock market and having access to see my exact trades, that's right. You're going to get access to an entire series of educational videos breaking down my entire trading system, and at the same time, be able to watch me on a week-to-week basis trade in the stock market. Go ahead, click the first link in the description, apply discount code podcast99 to get $100 off. On with the episode.
Check it out. Yeah, let's talk more about this trade that you're in. You said something that was kind of like intriguing me in the beginning of the show, where you said like you know what the stock has to do. Which is really interesting coming from like a place of certainty in trading. But I asked how your trading day was going, and it doesn't seem like it's going great right now. But what gives you that confidence to like, you're still a trader, whatever, it's going great, but this is my trade plan and I'm sticking to it?
Yeah, so it's going horrible. That's the way I would put it. But that's okay. I think I'm doing the right things. So I've been in this trade for the last 3 days. And I've traded stocks like this before. Anyway, the trade symbol is LUNR. It is a D-SPAC.
Okay.
It's up, I don't know, I would say 1,100% as of right now from where it opened 3 days ago.
Wow.
So it's about managing risk for me out here. It's about how do I not lose my year in a day. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing which is very important to me. I've been doing decently well on these trades before. These are D-SPACs, so they're SPACs that convert into live stocks, and there's a redemption that goes into them. And obviously, this had a high redemption, and we've been having high redemptions for nearly every de-SPAC, for the last year or so. And usually, if anyone is following the SPACs, they will know that these guys usually go down, and they go down quite a lot. They pretty much go down $2, $3, $5, $4. And so that's why I was in this stock, and this is like a lunar company. So basically, they're sending stuff to the moon.
Okay.
In fact, the stock is going to the moon also. So basically, that's what they do. I really don't care what they do, to be honest. Most of these are bad companies or high, just a way to raise money for them. Is doing a de-SPAC. But maybe this kind of hits some kind of chord with people. Redemption is pretty high. I think the float is about 400,000, not counting the PIPE, which is the original investors, and I think there's one guy who owns 53% of the company. So it's one of those things which is all tied up. And as soon as that releases, the stock is going to crash.
So you're short.
I know that. Okay. I'm short. I'm short. Another problem with this stock, which I did a lot of Twitter and everything too, is that people are promoting the stock like crazy because they know that people have to get out of it because there's a very high short rate on this, which is I think about 340% per day.
Oh my gosh!
So I have it short, so I don't want to give away my shorts up. Because if I don't short it every day, those shorts are gone, and then I might not be able to short it all even when it's coming down. So I'm trying to somehow manage risk and keep my short position in it. But today's move, I have to get out. I think I was in 2,000 shares pre-market. I've been carried for the last 2 days. I lost on day one, which is like, what was it, 1 to 3 days ago when it opened. It went to $50 from $10. So I lost that day. The next day I was up in it. The next day I was up in it, but I didn't cover. And then today, pre-market, I was again up in it, and then it opened and just went up, 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 up. And I was like, you know what? I gotta, it is what it is. I have to get out of it. I don't know if you guys remember this stock called HKD.
I remember. I didn't trade it, but I'm pretty present on FinTwit, and people were definitely posting about it.
So that's one stock that went from, I think, I don't know, what, $3 to like 2,000 or something like that.
Yeah, but this is more, and kind of like what we're seeing now. Is this not like a short squeeze? People are getting stuck and they have to cover.
Who is in this? I mean, if there is some shorts in this, they're probably out by now or by, I don't know, because it's tough to get short. And it's high short rate. I think it's just people pumping it because there's no one there to really sell unless when the guys who are pumping it sell. And they have no reason to sell because, there is enough pumping going on from Twitter and all these other sites, which is fine. The day an effect form comes out on this, when insiders can sell, and insiders do all these kind of different ways to short the stock or to hedge themselves, because obviously they are in from like $4 or $5. For them, this is more money than they ever seen in their whole life. So they, a lot of these guys will have offshore accounts where they will short it through the offshore accounts to hedge themselves. I don't think it's happening out here as of right now. But I also know that sometime in March, there's a bunch of warrants that can be exercised. So I'm looking for that date when that happens. And I think, everyone will exercise their options because, options exercise at $11.50. If you're up $90, you're going to take it. Whoever fund you are, whatever you do. So I'm waiting for that. At the same time, they could come up with, a form effect where they'll say, listen, you know what, now the insiders can sell and then, the trade's over. So it's about, as I said, it's about managing risk for me. I don't think I'll make my money back in this. I think I have an opportunity to make about half back and not lose anymore.
Okay.
That's really interesting. One quick question before we kind of move on into some more general, broad trading topics. What is redemption for those who may not know?
Redemption is that people who are in the SPAC, when it goes de-SPAC, you have a chance to redeem your share at $10.20 most of the times. So you say, listen, what, I don't like this company that you guys are merging with. I'm going to redeem my share, which I bought for $10, and now redeem at $10.20. And so I think about 93% of the people have redeemed it. So the float becomes that small.
Oh, okay.
Okay, interesting. So you're just waiting for because what percent of the float is tied up right now?
Really tough to know. But I think the float is about 450,000 right now.
Okay, so then you said like 52% of the shares are held by one person. So all of a sudden,
so I think
a million
outstanding is about 32 million.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a huge difference. So all of a sudden the supply comes in and then the price will correct. Interesting.
When the supply comes in.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
I have to be sitting on this desk that day. So
yeah.
if I lose my career on this, then it's stupid.
So does this consist of what your main trading strategy is? Finding these type of events?
I mean, this question, is asked many times. What is your strategy? And my strategy is honestly anything that's moving. I am a reversal trader. That's predominantly what I am. But the way the market has been, it's not made for reversal trading right now. The last year and a half, it's just getting harder and harder to be a reversal trader. So then you start doing other things. You start to see other ways to make money. You look at, you just look at the market, you'll find something that is, doing something irrational. Like SPACs are, back in COVID, were doing something irrational. So you start trading SPACs. I'm not a SPAC trader, but because they were doing irrational stuff, I was starting, getting into SPACs, trying to understand it, what's happening, why trade it, why not trade it. So you start becoming a SPAC trader. So whatever is moving, and if it's low float stocks, if it's small caps that are doing it, then I'm going to be a part of it. Whatever's moving, I want to be a part of it. I'm not part of Apple and other stuff, but if Tesla's moving, yeah, I'm part of it. It doesn't matter, what happens then, but I'll figure a way to how I can make money in Tesla.
Okay, and what are some tools that you use to find what is moving, whether it's Twitter, certain scanners you have in place, maybe communicating with your trading peers?
So I don't know if you know, I work for Kirshner Trading. All our whole software, everything is proprietary.
Yep.
So basically, we have our own market scanners that scan market conditions that I'm looking for. So you make your own algorithm that looks for a certain kind of criteria, and so things like that. So basically, I'm looking for anything that's moving. Okay. That's my in a very broad way.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. So now let's kind of rewind and talk about where you started out as a trader. How did you get interested in trading in the first place?
So anyways, I was born and brought up in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Or Bombay is when I was there. I came here, went to UT Austin, one of the best schools, I would say. And then my father was always interested in stocks. So I was always that kind of guy who always listened to what's happening on CNBC, this and that. I thought I'll go into mutual funds and, become this mutual fund manager and manage all, portfolio of stocks, choose the right companies. But when I started applying, I realized that, you really have to start at the bottom most to really become anything in the mutual fund market. And obviously I was not getting anything at that time either. Kirshner came and did a job fair at UT, and I got in there. I went and spoke to the some of the guys who would come there to speak about ADG, and I thought it was really fascinating. I really did not know what day trading was as such. I mean, just the term was seemed like it's gambling. Seemed like it's cold calling, and a lot of cold calling stuff was happening that time. You call people and you convince them this is a stock to buy and this and that.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I don't want to cold calling, and so I was like, he's like, why don't you come and check us out? Like, come to the office. So I went to the office and it was fascinating. It was like a trading desk, right? Like screens everywhere, everyone's typing, everyone's like, doing their stuff, and they're like, wow, this looks interesting. So I looked into it more and I was like, this is something I think I would love to do. And for me, the way I thought about it is that, I was 21, 22. It's the best time in life to take the most risk as you can. Because once you start getting a 9 to 5 job and, you start making 70, 80, 90K, whatever you start with, and then it's very hard to go back to a non-salary job. So for me, it was like, yeah, you know what? Let me take the most riskiest option right now. Worst case, I don't make it. I go back and, work for a Bank of America or whatever, at that moment was. So for me, it was, let me try it out. And when I first sat on the trading desk, and it was just exciting. For me, my attention span is very low. So things that keep changing, I like that. Second, I thought that, there's no cap on how much money you can make, because you work for a firm and you do great for the firm. The firm makes $100 million on it. You get paid 150,000. I was like, yeah, that's not fair. So if I put in the hard work, whatever money I make, I get a decent chunk of percentage, and there is no cap to how much money I can make. So I thought all those things at the age I was a great time to experiment and do it. And I didn't realize that this would be the love of my life, would be the passion that, very rare in your life you get your first job as the job you have always wanted.
Yeah.
So this was one of it.
That's really cool. So you pretty much completed college with what degree?
Economics, because I wasn't smart enough.
Okay, so you finished college with an economics degree and then pretty much just jumped full force into trading. How many hours a week were you dedicating to trading to start with?
I mean, I would go there markets open at 8:30 in Austin. So I would be there by 7. And, honestly, if I have to give what my success, I would give it to my coach. So the way Kirshner works, at least at that time, was that you have a coach and there's a student. So I came as a student to my coach, Matt Oglesby, and he taught me everything that he knew, and I watched. And eventually, after a year and a half, 2 years, I was giving him some ideas. So it was kind of a great integration that, okay, now I'm giving him ideas. He's making more money off those ideas. And so that's how it works. You start talking to each other. And with KDG, it's all about sharing your information, sharing your ideas, because you never know what idea will be your idea. And someone can, improvise on your idea too and make it even better. And so this way, things that you don't think, someone else might think. You have 2 pairs of eyes looking at something is always going to show something more than 1 pair of eyes.
Interesting. Do you think you would have become a successful trader without this coach? And what is the importance with finding a good coach, finding a good mentor?
I think it's the most important thing when you're starting off with. And I'm not saying find a coach on Zoom. You have to be sitting in the same seat, feeling the same emotions as someone else is at that moment, right? Like if you look at this trade Lunar, which I'm in, it went to 135 and now it's at 109. It looks great. And did you short at 134 and you covered at 109? No, I went through a lot of stress between that.
Yeah.
You did not come and see that. It's great for me to come and, give you advice that, that's where, this is the reason, and I can draw any line that makes it feel right. But you have to be there and see it through my eyes, through my seat, what is going on. So that's the great thing about being with a mentor or a coach. I think it's priceless. I mean, a good coach is everything.
So what are some things that our listeners, because our main demographic of listeners are beginner traders, aspiring traders, maybe mediocre traders have been at it for a little bit, maybe advanced traders here and there, but what should someone do? I mean, is the only answer to go trade for a proprietary trading firm?
I mean, that's what I would say, is that you go trade with someone else, someone who knows what they're doing, someone who's been through situations, not like just been the COVID traders, who everyone thought, now I can be a trader, because the market was much easier. If you can make money in this market, you're the real trader. If you, I know a lot of people who made a lot of money in COVID times. Obviously, we all did. And I know if you're an experienced trader, you're going to make a lot more money than the person who just thought, now I can become a day trader, because the market was giving so much money out.
Yeah.
It was easy. But if you can make money in this market, then that's a real trader.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, what I see in someone, I think passion is one thing, right? Because this job is not easy. Every day you'll be wrong. Can you take that? So only passion is the only thing that wakes me up the next morning to trade. Because I love what I do. I would trade on weekends if the market was open. But, and it's been 16 years. So, right. I also tell traders that, yes, you traded and the market is hard right now. Don't run away. Don't get out of your desk and say, oh, you know what? It's too hard right now. I'm just losing money constantly. Let me go in for a vacation. Fine, go for a vacation. That's not a problem. Do not leave the trading desk. Like, Don't say, I'm taking 2 months off.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't do that. Sit on the desk, watch it. Even if you don't make any money, and if you don't take a single trade, I'm okay with that too. But sit there and watch, because when you watch, something will come. Some bulb will light up in your head where you like, you know what? This is something that I've not seen. Let me go look into this. Let me go and back test this. Let me go forward test this.
Mm-hmm.
You can go. So that's something which I never did, and I know people who. I've been a 2008 trader, right? So I've seen that financial crisis, which was like, catastrophe. We thought the world is coming to an end.
Yeah.
COVID was nothing close to it.
Yeah.
I tell you that. And so when 2009 and 10 happened, markets became really dead, like how they are right now, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is struggling to make money. They're like, how the hell was I making 300, 400, 500,000 in 2020, and I cannot even make $500 right now? It's normal. This is how markets work. This is how day trading, the profession works. There are great years, there are subpar years, but you don't walk away from your desk. You stay there and you go through it, because when the time comes, you will hit it big.
I love that. Sticking in when times are tough. So can you talk about maybe some of the extreme trading environments that you've traded in? For example, like you've traded in a couple flash crashes, trading in the 2008 to 2009 era. Any good stories or maybe little pieces of perseverance that you just talked about, even when times are tough, sticking by the computer and continuing to put the time in?
Yeah, I mean, 2000, I started in 2000, end of 2006, right? So it was, the first year of trading, you're in a fog, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you think you know everything, and then suddenly something else happens. And you're like, oh God, I didn't know that. And you start losing money in that. And so the first year was 2007. It was an okay year. Things were not going that crazy, but it was enough where I came out positive. It was my first year. I told my parents, if I make 60K, I'll stick to this job, because that's what I would have made in some other job. So I made 60K, 70K, or whatever. I don't remember now. But 2008, and I'd never seen. I mean, obviously, I was just new, but that at that time looked like some craziness, right? So I would wake up at 4 a.m, see what the futures are like, sit and just trade, and you're making a lot of money. You're making life-changing money at that point, where I was like, whoa, like this is the best job in the world. And just like COVID times, right? Like it was easy to make money. And if I was an experienced trader, what I am right now, I would have retired in 2009. I'm pretty sure. Like it was that easy and that good. Obviously, technology wasn't there that we have today.
Yeah.
But if we had that, everything, oh my God, it was just, I mean, it was crazy. It was just, I mean, even to short a stock was hard. It was not like as easy as pressing a button, It was like, you'd call someone, hey, listen, can we get shorts for this company? And then, they would get it. And, you had a special key. You had to pay like a lot more in commission to short the stock. So all that crap was happening also. Like it wasn't just like a piece of cake,
Yeah.
And I remember that like for a while after 2008, you could short the financial stocks for a while.
Really?
You could only short it on an uptick.
You could say it again?
Only short on an uptick.
You can only short an uptick. So if a stock is going up, then you can short it. If it's going down, you can't short.
Wow.
Interesting.
So for a while, they did that so that they could control the short selling on these companies.
Yeah,
Oh
wow.
my God. So we really hope you guys are enjoying this episode. This has to be one of my favorite ones so far. But I wanted to take another moment and quickly thank this episode sponsor, thedailytraders.com. Now, if you're interested in learning how to trade in the stock market, finding the right mentor, I'm here to help you. Click the first link in the description below, apply discount code podcast99 to get $100 off, and you'll get access to 30 plus videos breaking down my entire trading system, and on a week-to-week basis, being able to see my exact trades in the stock market. All right, thank you guys for watching, and on with the episode. I wanted to ask you, how in the beginning, or still now, do you deal with the uncertainty of income with trading? I mean, that's a hard thing, not knowing you're getting a paycheck.
Yeah, so, I mean, so first you have to make money to get the uncertainty out of the way, right? When you start making money, then more problems come up, because you're like, oh, I should be sustaining this income, which sometimes doesn't happen. Sometimes you'll have a great year, and then the next year will be pretty Like, yeah, you made 100K, but it was great 2 years ago, but today it's not because you had a great year.
Yeah.
The way I do it, and this is just me because this is what makes me sleep well at night, is that I own a bunch of real estate, right? So I get a lot of passive income from that.
Okay.
I want to, and I will, and I am somewhat at that stage where I get enough passive income that equals to my expenses per month. So even if I don't make any money in the market, I'm not dipping into my savings. I'm not dipping into, I'm not getting scared. I'm going to trade what I feel like trading. And the thing with when you lose money is that you get discouraged. You lose your confidence. And all that happens. I don't want to reach that stage.
Yeah.
So because I have been through that, I have been through a huge loss, which took a lot of time for me to come back. I was a very different trader. And as I made that money back, I was a different trader. And I've given this interview once before also about that whole trade, but I can recap for your listeners a little bit of that trade. It's it happened in 2013, and it was a trade which I was in AGN, I think. Funny how I forget it today. But I was in 8 or 9,000, 10,000 shares, and it had a buyout that very second. I think it was Bill Ackman who took a stake or whatever, and in 12 or 13 seconds, the stock was trading about 30 points up, and I was down 300,000 without even blinking an eye.
Oh my God!
And so your first thing is to get out, right? You don't think like you're bad. I've never seen that kind of number in my blog. So I was getting out of it, and then it never came down actually from there on that day at least. And this happened post market, right? So it was just at the end of the market day that it happened, and that was my biggest loss ever. Till then, before that, I'd probably lost maybe like 50 or 60, but never 300, and not in a single day, And this was happening in March, and I had a really good January, I had a really good February. I was having a decently good March. I was probably going to have my best year at the way things were going, and then I get hit with this crazy loss. Few months later, I find out my father has cancer, and he was in Bombay, so I'm flying back and forth 3 or 4 times. All that, everything is going on. I just had a kid in March, my first kid. So I was like,
that is crazy,
bad. But you just have to go through it, right? So the next month, I think I lost 14,000. The next month, I lost 7,000. And it was not normal for me to lose money. I was making money consistently before that. I was like, I just cannot get a freaking trade that works. And you start realizing that we are like sportsmen. When you're on fire, you're on fire. And then sometimes Steve Curry also cannot hit a three, even though he practices like 10,000 threes in a year. But sometimes you just cannot because your confidence is low, and you're a different person when your confidence is low.
Yeah.
So somehow you have to get out of that, whatever it takes. You sit at the desk, you sit and you grind it out, which is usually what happens. And then slowly, I made 5,000 next month, 10,000 next month. It goes on and goes on. It takes me about 15 months to break even in August of next year. So it's taken all these years, and I remember sitting, after my father died, I was sitting with my cousins and having a Johnny Walker Blue Label and saying that nothing can go wrong because everything, the worst is already done.
Wow.
Because what else can you throw at me, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I came out of that. And June 16th was one of the biggest flash crashes, or June 24th, sorry, was the biggest flash crash in the history that I've seen. It happened when China devalued their currency for the first time ever. Markets, were gapped down huge, and it opened, and we just went down 600 points in maybe 30 minutes, right?
Wow.
But in the first 12 minutes, I think we went down 600 points, and all the algos went off because they were not used to that kind of beta.
Wow.
And so liquidity just dried up. Like I remember like Home Depot fell maybe 10, 12 points in 15 seconds. Like there was nothing there on the bid.
Wow.
It was just So it was just like, what is happening? And what also happened was that a lot of the funds that mimic the S&P 500 lost. Like it was just everyone's stop losses were getting hit, market orders and were getting piled up, stocks were halting with a lot of market orders just piled in. So when they opened, all the market orders just swept all the way down till they could find liquidity. So a lot of the money we made were on S&P 500 mutual funds that mimic. So they were down like 30%, while the S&P was down 6%. So we were just constantly buying. It looks all easy and all. It was obviously a little scary because you're also down for a while. And I think I was down 200,000. When I just saw my P&L for a second, I was like, "Fuck!" I said, "I cannot go through this again in my life." So yeah, basically, I looked at my senior trader and like he was down 4 million.
Oh my gosh!
And obviously my CEO was freaking out because we were down for a while. And so he asked him, I said, "Hey, are you doing okay?" And he said, "I'm doing fantastic." I was like, "Dude, he's doing fantastic. Let me just do what I'm doing." And then maybe in maybe 4 minutes later, I think I was up 3 million.
Oh my gosh.
You made 3 million. You're up.
I made 3 million. He made something more than that.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's wild.
Incredible. What a story.
That was with was that with that guy out in England in like his mom's basement or something?
No, it's not that guy.
That was a different
one. What are you talking about?
Different flash crash.
I don't know if it's a different flash crash actually. I think there was an option. He was in options market, right? Or was he in equities?
No, he was in equities.
Nav?
Yeah, Nav. That was his name.
Nav, right? Yeah, it must be the same day. Or who could?
I think that was like the flash crash he caused because what he was doing, he was putting up he was spoofing orders.
Spoofing.
Yeah. And he was just dragging down the bid, and then
and then he got eaten up in one shot.
Exactly. Wow. What a that's
so yeah, and I mean, by 9:30 in 1 hour, the market had retraced 600-700 points, and I had pretty much sold out of everything I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it because it was complete silence after that. It was like the market never did anything. And I remember walking to the break room and calling my wife up, and I'm like, I'm not a big believer in God. I'm an atheist pretty much. So I said, "Hey, listen, you believe in God, please see that nothing breaks." Because I was scared that some trades would break because some things went so quick. Like there was one ETF that did 4.5 million shares when on average it normally does 30,000. So it was like that kind of volume where you'd but I was like, if the market had to break, they had to break a lot of shit. They broke a little bit anyways on that day, but nothing, that changed my P&L or anything like that. And
wow, what a cool story of like full circle and perseverance. It went from like losing 300,000 to making $3 million in a day.
And this was 2 days after I broke even on my 300,000 that I lost.
Wow. Okay.
2 days after.
How did you deal with that? How do you deal with the loss, mentally, and then how do you deal with this win mentally? And then outside of your life, or outside of the trading room, at least outside of the floor, what did you go do? Did you go celebrate that win?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So when I was down at 300, I thought this is it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to my CEO. He said, "Listen, just go to sleep. Don't worry about it. It happens, this and that." And he's like, "You're a good trader. Don't worry about it." It didn't really, comfort me at all. I was still scared. I was like, everything I've done till now is a fluke.
Yeah.
Which I think every trader feels at times, is that everything, this is I just got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to my coach, who was the same coach before, and he said, "Listen, Nish, and you the first 2 or 3 months you did so well, right? Which was pretty much as I had lost nearly, and he said, you can always make it back.
Mm-hmm.
Just stick there, just give it in, and once you sleep and you wake up, and a few days go by, you start forgetting about that." Yeah. I did, think about maybe I should. I did say once I had some money saved, but when you don't get a paycheck, you're a different person. You could be a millionaire, you could be worth whatever you say you are.
Yep.
When you don't get a paycheck for a month or two, it starts getting on your head. Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have money. So for me, it was just grinding it out. To be honest, as as I lost those first 2 months, when I started making money, I said, oh, you know what? My confidence came back. Everything started looking, I started finding more opportunities. Everything looks different, It's just like, you're in black and white, and now everything starts starting to get in color. And suddenly, you start doing well, and you reach a point where you break even, and you're waiting for that day. And I was like, thank you to reach that point.
Yep.
Fast forward to my best day. Actually, let's go behind. In 2007, I had my best day, which was like, I think I made 100K in a trade, and I was ecstatic. I was like, fuck, man, none of my friends have made 100K in a day. This is like, my father probably never made 100K in a day. I was ecstatic. I called up my friends, other guys, what are you guys doing? Let's meet up for drinks. I was telling my wife, should we take a limo and go today, or should we, drive? I was like full of confidence, right?
Yeah.
I took all my friends from work. We went there. I said, guys, order what you want. Champagne is flowing. This is flowing. That is flowing. The bill was about, I think, 1,200, 1,300. I said, yeah, it's easy. I just paid the bill. And, I lived in that glory and everything, and I felt really happy about it.
Yeah. So what'd you do after the 3 mil day? Did you learn?
So let's go to $300,000 day first.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because when I lost that $300,000 day, I didn't go call a single friend of mine.
Oh, of course.
I did not go and say, let's eat together or something like that. It was my own sorrows. It was my own thing. So I think that day I learned that let's not celebrate the winners. Let's not get depressed about the losers. Let's try to be neutral as much as you can be. I know it's super hard, but I try now not to celebrate anything. I try not to, even be too depressed about losing money. It's hard, but it's work in progress, right? Yeah. It's easy not to celebrate.
Yeah.
But it's harder to not cry and cry about your losses. So
that's a great lesson for people to learn. Just reward yourself consistently, I guess, or don't reward yourself. Just always, if you go back home at night, I guess your wife or girlfriend or whatever shouldn't know if you had a good day or a bad day. Is that kind of
right? It should be like that. But I mean, I tell my wife it's a good day. I usually tell her if it's a bad day also.
All right. There's an exception. Wife gets an exception.
Yeah. I said, now it's time to stop spending money. Now it's time to start spending money. Do what you want. Louis Vuitton is fine right now, but when I made the 3 million, I actually wasn't pretty close to tears.
I bet.
We've been through a lot in the 16 months reaching to that.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to celebrate it. Obviously, I want to celebrate my wife. Yeah. So I think from the office, I went to the Louis Vuitton store, bought her a bag, and came to the doorstep. And, she was already in tears when she was going to see me. And I gave her the bag because that was something which... So I didn't celebrate, but I celebrate only with her.
I
didn't go and, paint the town red. Let's go have a drink. Let's go party. Let's go, bottle service. None of that. Just went there, got her a gift, and that's it.
Wow.
And then we just, went over it,
Damn, what a cool story. I'm kind of speechless. That was really, really cool.
That's super motivational for everyone listening, I'm sure. I think we're kind of coming to an end of this episode. We like keeping them shorter. God, we could probably do a part 2 and a part 3 because this is fun, I love talking with you. You have any advice, kind of a couple maybe tips for people looking to get into trading?
Whether books to start, like certain expectations
just to kind of get people on the right track as, a beginner trader listening to this.
It's hard, man, because I don't think any book is written out there to make money. Why would you write a book if I knew how to make money?
Interesting.
That's the way I see it. Yeah, you can read books about psychology, but I don't think there's a book written that if you do this, and you're guaranteed to make money. And if it is, why did you write it? Right? So it's good to, for me, I listen to, a lot of podcasts and see what people have been through.
Yep.
How they got out of it. Things like that. How do you manage risk is something, I would like to read about more.
Yep.
I'm not a big book person. My only thing, I'm more an audio person, so I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to all that. I listen to even psychology podcasts. I listen to, anything that can get your mind, just straight. Like even yoga, even spiritual stuff. I'm not spiritual at all, but I like to see how people are thinking at times. So for a newbie trader, all I want to tell them is that the expectations to make money, give it some time, because this job is not like, you do all the hard work and you'll get results. Not necessarily. Steve Curry probably, shoots that 3-pointers for years, and today he can be consistent about it, but also he'll have an off day.
Yeah.
So remember that. Like, I feel like we are a lot like sportsmen. We all have that time where every shot you hit is going in, and sometimes the same shot is not going in, but it doesn't mean you don't practice. You keep your practice going. Wait for that day. One thing I wanted to say and mention is that people keep thinking trying to make money quick.
Yep.
There is no money quick in this business. You might make money quickly, maybe 1 year, but it might average out the next year. What you need to remember is that every 5 years, the market will give you a gift. Okay, you have to be there for that gift. Every 10 years, it give you a retirement gift, where it's enough money where you can technically retire if you want to. So if you're there for the whole 10-year span, you will get these gifts. The other years will just be normal years where you'll make money or you'll break even, or you won't make too much money. So, but those are the years you have to live with and go through that struggle. Otherwise, you would not hit that 5-year gift and the 10-year retirement gift.
Wow, I like that.
What a great note to end it on.
So for me, the 5-year gift is the flash crash.
Yep.
The 10-year gift is COVID.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow, that was really cool. I think.
Yeah.
Wait, the 5-year gift was the flash crash?
What was... You guys are smart enough to understand more of that.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. That's awesome. Well, again, thank you, Nishant, so much for coming on. I think we must have to do a part 2, because I want to get into risk management with you and some more technical trading strategies for some of our more advanced listeners out there. But again,
this has been a great episode.
Can people find you anywhere? Do you have a Twitter, website?
I do have multiple things, but don't expect me to say anything on that, which will give advice to anyone.
Right.
So at Twitter, I think it's at Nishant82.
Cool.
Instagram is DJNish80X.
Okay.
Nice.
We'll link you in the description, because
Yep.
people can go check you out. I mean, seriously, this has been probably one of my favorite episodes. Some really motivational stuff for myself, and definitely everyone listening.
Yeah.
And we're trying to keep these episodes short, like I said, and it's also almost 3 o'clock, so we all have to go trade ourselves.
It's real times, buddy. People don't have the patience to listen to. I said it's Instagram day. It's 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Do anything over 30 seconds is
I know.
Yeah. That's why we clip it up, put it up. We should start putting these on the Instagram as well, maybe once a week, the best clip.
Anyway, let's
we appreciate
wrap things
it.
up here. Thank you for coming on, Nish. We appreciate you so much. And let's stay in touch.
all right, later, Nish. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, man. See ya.
Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I personally love this episode. Did you like it?
Yeah.
That was awesome. But real quick, if you guys could just simply leave a comment, review, like the show. We put a lot of effort into these episodes. So if you guys got any value out of this episode, you enjoyed it, please, please, please leave a like, comment, review. Helps us.
Subscribe.
Thank you. And see you in the next one.
Later.